Welcome to the Matt Attack Predictions Pay-Per-View Podcast. I'm Matt Willis, and this is the Matt Attack. Right, it's the first time I've done this for about 2 years, so do bear with me, people. As I was saying, I'm Matt Willis, this is the Matt Attack, and I am joined very graciously this week by a man who actually was courteous enough to have me on his podcast last week, Graham Bagshaw. Welcome to Matt Attack.
Well, I got to do one correction straight away, because I think I'm going to get killed if I don't correct you on that one. I'm only a co-host on that podcast. It's really my son. It's Mason, who's 10-year-old. It's his wrestling podcast. I just help him out. I consider myself the co-host. He's the boss, as I say it. But no, we were very thankful to have you on. You were our first guest. You did a great job. I'm sure it's no coincidence that episode has the most number of views as well.
You flatter me. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. And of course, yes, thank you, Mason. I do appreciate it as well. And I'm sure that it's always a good thing if you can ground your co-host. So I'm glad that I can't have that happen to me at any point. So yeah, I've decided to have Graham on this week for a number of reasons. One, because I feel like I owe him one, but also because I actually want to actually have banter back and forth about the predictions for each pay-per-view that I'm going to do. It's going to be about a monthly sort of thing I'm going to do here, guys. And obviously, WrestleMania is literally days away. The card is pretty much finalised now, barring any injuries or any rumoured matches, shall we say?
Subject to change as always, of course.
Very well said, Graham. Very well said. I just hope that I don't trip my words at any point, so because I don't like doing two takes. Right. Okay, so let's kick off with what we know at the pre-show then, shall we, Graham, I think?
Sure.
We've got the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. Two former winners in it.
Yep.
Who have you got down for it?
I looked at the list from what we know so far who's in it, and nobody really stands out for me. Baron Corbin seems like an obvious winner, but he's already won it, so I can't see them giving him a second push for no reason at all. He also had the Money in the Bank this year as well, so I don't think him. I'm a big fan of Matt Hardy, but he just won the Ultimate Deletion as well, so I think he's already had his little push. Now, you're probably going to be the expert on this. Go ahead, tell us who the recent winners have been. I know Baron, I know Mojo Rawley. Who else?
Well, Big Show won WrestleMania, was it 30? No, Big Show.
I think there's only been like 4 of these winners.
The first winner was Cesaro, and
okay.
Then Big Show won WrestleMania 31. WrestleMania 32 was Baron Corbin, and last year was Mojo Rawley.
Now, what happened to all those people after they actually won it? Nothing.
Nothing really particular, no.
And for that reason, who am I picking? Who never really gets anything out of it? I'm going Dolph Ziggler. He just never. Now he's been a former world champion, admittedly, but he always, when he certainly plays up to this role as well. He never gets his chances, blah blah blah. I think they're going to let him get something, but it's not going to materialise into anything at all for the following year. He did just sign that big new contract, apparently, so it looks like long term and for kind of big money. So they obviously did that for a reason. This sounds like the ideal opportunity to give him that push. So I'm going to pick Dolph Ziggler.
This is a good point. Yeah, Dolph Ziggler's a good shout for that, certainly. I mean, especially with be going through the whole, like, I'm better than this sort of stuff. I kind of like that. Personally, I've actually gone with Matt Hardy because I genuinely think, I think that they are going to be pushing him along a bit more. Because, yes, he won the Ultimate Deletion and put Bray Wyatt into the Sea of Reincarnation. But Jeff Hardy is also clear to come back.
Yes.
I expect him to return the night after WrestleMania, but I expect him to come up with Brother Nero, and I think he'd be the perfect person to come in and not necessarily feud with Matt Hardy, but I definitely think he'd be part of the Woken universe. Definitely.
I like that. I think that's a great theory. Now, I did see on the WWE shop, you can actually get that shirt now from that scene. You can get the Mower of Lawn shirt. It's $27 though. I really, that was my favorite bit in the Ultimate Deletion. It's kind of tempting. I'm hoping WrestleMania gives like a 30% off or something like we sometimes see. But yeah, I'm a big fan of Matt Hardy. But yeah, that was a tough pick between those two.
It is kind of steep, $27 there, that's for certain. Because it won't be cheaper in pounds over here, that's for certain.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, I wouldn't even like to think what it's going to be on the UK shop, or if you got to pay shipping from the US. I don't know.
Yeah, we have Euroshop based in Manchester, but even so, I imagine.
Oh, okay.
Because it's $9.99 for the network in America. It's £9.99 here. We're paying more than you guys are for it.
You are, yeah. That's probably about £14, £15. Yeah, I didn't realize. Sorry, $14, $15. Yeah,
Yeah, so I'm not too. Well, that's all right. Is it the same in Japan? $9.99 yen? I doubt it.
Oh, no, I don't think so, because it'd probably be like 10,000 yen or something. That's quite a steep exchange rate. I don't know exactly what that one is. Yeah, I'm actually looking to sign into the New Japan network in the next month, so I'm going to be finding all them figures out pretty soon, I'm guessing.
New Japan is something I need to get into more, definitely. That's something definitely to get into.
We'll talk about that definitely on another time, but yeah, I've got my birthday coming up next month. That's going to be my present to myself. I'm going to buy a subscription to that for a year, I think. I'm going to give it a go.
Excellent. Right, let's move on to the second match of the pre-show, but which I think, we know it's on the pre-show, the order obviously, as for all of these, could be in any order, just going in the order. I've literally written them down here, so. The WrestleMania Women's Battle Royal, the first, obviously renamed.
Now, I didn't know all the people who were in this, so I asked you. I was like, "Hey, read them all out to me." And I asked you to stop after one name. You said Sasha, and I was like, "That's it. You're good." Sasha Banks. It seems like the most obvious one. I thought she was going to be fighting Bayley, but it looks like that's not going to happen now if she's in this match. I think that's sort of the next big push. All those other people, the other top characters, they already have their championship matches. So who's the next big name outside that? I'm going Sasha. I think she did really well in the Royal Rumble as well. She was in there for a long time. I think she went in was she in number 1 possibly?
She entered 1, yeah.
Yeah, came out like 24th, 25th. She was there for a long time. So yeah, Sasha obviously has some pedigree with regards to that. So yeah, Sasha Banks is an obvious pick for me on that one.
Sasha Banks for you. Not a bad shout. Not a bad shout at all, for obvious reasons. I mean, Boss Time is obviously it's just so Michael Cole can shout, "It's Boss Time!" And it really grinds my gears. We know it's Boss Time, Michael, get on with it. Right.
Now, I'm kind of dreading now what the next 29 names are who are in this, because I might have overlooked somebody, but go on, you can tell me how I've overlooked somebody.
You haven't overlooked anyone. She's a great shout, definitely. I've gone with a slightly left field option. I've gone with Sonya Deville.
Oh, okay.
Because I think that, unfortunately, with Paige being injured the way she is, Mandy Rose is great in the ring, but Sonya's just screaming to be given a push. I'm not saying that they're going to do anything with this besides give them the trophy, and that trophy is hideous. It's absolutely hideous.
Terrible.
Yeah, it's befitting of its former name, that's for certain. But for me, Sonya Deville, because I think she's amazing, and she really needs to be rebuilt after Ronda really removed her credibility. When I gave you my number 1 moment from Raw a few weeks ago on your podcast, and said that Sonya being torn apart was great for Ronda, but it was terrible for Sonya.
Yeah. Now, I also think, as I said, that's not a terrible pick either, because she was put into they've not been on the main roster for very long, but she was on the Elimination Chamber. So the fact that they gave her that credibility early on shows you that she is going to be a big character in the future. So no, I think that's a great call as well.
Yeah. Not too shabby. We're getting right with this, aren't we? Hey.
Yeah.
Right, okay, next up is the final of the Cruiserweight Championship Tournament. Now, of course, this was when Enzo Amore, for his legal reasons, was dismissed by WWE. Title stripped from him, and the final is Cedric Alexander versus Mustafa Ali.
And this is the one. Now, I would say you guys are lucky in England. You got the BBC. Everything's kind of cheap. I know you got to pay for Sky probably to watch your matches. My cable bill in America was ridiculous. It was like nearly $100 a month. And we're like, I'm not paying that anymore. So we cut cable. So we pay $10 a month now. and we get something called Hulu, and we get to watch the highlights the next day. It's like a 90-minute show.
Yeah.
So they've got 3 hours into 90, so we don't get to see any of this at all. Now, I could find the highlights on the network if I wanted to, or on YouTube, and to be honest, I've had no interest in this division at all. So I'm going to cut straight to the point. I'm going for Mustafa Ali for no real reason, but I'm just going to go with that. Not a big fan of Cedric Alexander, who I do know. I've never seen Mustafa Ali fight. So this is one that's totally from left field.
Okay.
I'm going to let you tell me everything about this one, because you're the expert on this one, I know.
Yeah, I do like the cruiserweights. Mustafa Ali's high-flying style is fantastic, and his 054 splash is something to just beautiful to watch.
Oh, I lie then. I did see that. That was the number 9 moment last week. So no, I have seen some of his action. So yeah, that was good. That's probably what stuck in my head, right, Matt? That's why I'd heard the name.
Because I picked it for my number 2 moment. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, so it's absolutely beautiful thing to watch. Cedric is very good in the ring as well, but Mustafa Ali for me is also the pick. So for the first time, we're actually on the same page on this one. It's the first one we've called the same. Right. Okay. Moving on to the main. Onto the main card.
Main card, yep.
Okay, we've got the United States title fatal 4-way match. We've got for this one, of course, Randy Orton defending the championship against Bobby Roode, Jinder Mahal with Mr. Singh, and Rusev with Aiden English. Who have you got, and why, please?
Now, I'm going to go with Randy. I'm going to keep him. I'm going to let him keep the title. I don't see why you would give him a title for like 1 week or 2 weeks and then take it away from him straight away. Now, the only thing that makes me worry a little bit is why would they suddenly add Rusev in at the last minute if they're not going to let Rusev win? I know this whole thing with Rusev Day is huge right now. It's so over. I'm just not sure he's quite ready. I think the idea of Rusev Day is over, but I'm not sure the wrestler himself, Rusev, is over. I'm just going to go with Randy. I don't see any reason to change this. I don't think Jinder had a horrible day on Raw. He got beat horribly by Rusev, and then he had nothing out of that match to show for it at all. Randy seems like an obvious one for me for this one.
Okay, you're going with Randy Orton to defend. Okay, yeah. Yep. Obviously, there's no champion's advantage in a fatal 4-way, but you've gone with Orton. That's cool. See, I completely agree with you regarding Rusev and being added last minute, how it's clear they're going to be doing something with him for it.
Yeah.
And that's why he's my pick.
Okay. And I can't argue with that at all. I would say it was between those two. And I don't know. I just get the feeling, why give it to Randy for a week, though? Why not just let Bobby Roode keep it, throw Rusev in as the fatal 4-way, and then let Rusev win it then? I don't know why you'd give it to him for just a week or 2 weeks, but that's my only doubt on that one.
2 words for you, Bray Wyatt. Last year, exactly the same thing happened. Bray Wyatt won the WWE Championship at the Elimination Chamber, and then 4 weeks later lost it to Randy Orton.
Isn't that amazing that it's a year ago that he won that, and now he's like nothing? His star has fallen so quickly, it's shocking.
Yeah, and the thing is, they're still doing the whole light thing, so the fans still like him.
Yeah.
So
they printed what his percentage win rate was last year. I know you're really the statistician, not me, on things like this, but his win rate was like 27% last year. I mean, that's awful. That's like 1 in 4. Supposedly for a god, like how can a god lose 3 out of 4 times? It makes no sense. But yeah, his star has really fallen. That's for sure.
Well, God only has had 1 match technically. He lost the tag team match to McMahon at the Backlash 2006, but that's another story entirely. And I'm really showing my nerd stuff here, unfortunately. If you're still listening at this point, yes, this is what I do as a hobby. Right. Okay, the IC title triple threat match is next on the agenda.
It is, and having said that, I thought the Royale was tough to pick because there's so many people. I actually had more tougher decision picking this one. I can make cases for all 3 of these guys.
All 3 of them are red hot.
Miz I could pick because he's so close to being the longest Intercontinental Champion of all time. Finn Balor seems to win all his matches. He always seems to get a coup de grace in there, and he wins. Seth, after his... How long was he in the ring? He was in like for an hour a few weeks ago on Raw. Remember when they kept sending people in? He beat Reigns. He beat so many people, so he's got that push as well, and it makes it really tough. Now, I know they say a little knowledge is a dangerous thing, and that's probably going to come true for this. I'd heard a rumour online that they posted already something that Finn was going to try and take the title off Seth in, I think it's Ireland, where they got a WWE match coming up.
Yeah.
So, for no other reason than that, I'm going to go with Seth Rollins for this one. He did have a good match on Monday Night Raw. Whether they'd let him win back-to-back ones like this, normally you let one win and then you switch it over. But on that little bit of knowledge that I heard, I'm going to go Seth Rollins.
I could be
but
wrong.
I'm not confident on this at all. This is the least confident of all my picks.
I could be wrong about this. I probably am. But I think that was the first time they've gone one-on-one since SummerSlam, nearly 2 years ago, for the first ever Universal title match.
I think you might be right. That sounds quite, because he was injured
Finn
for a long
won
time.
That match. And this is when Seth got his win back. But they're both faces at the moment. Miz is playing a great heel. Will Miz Taraj actually be at WrestleMania?
Not sure on that one. I've not even really considered. Yeah, I don't know.
Unlikely.
Yeah, it's a tough. Like I said, I think this is a tough one. You can make case for all of them.
Yeah, but I've gone with Finn Balor because you know my stance on Finn Balor. He's my favourite wrestler. I'm always going to pick the man when I can, but I can't ignore the fact that rumour about Seth Rollins winning and defending the champion in Ireland against Finn Balor. I can't argue. That swayed me a little bit, but I'm sticking with me guns. Finn Balor for me on that one.
Like I say, a little knowledge is a dangerous thing on that one. Whichever one pick you'd have made, I'd have been. That's fine. I'm happy with any of those picks. I don't think any of them are bad picks.
All of these things we see, like these people with slated fists, we all remember the infamous words are card subject to change.
Of course.
So, I mean, let's not forget a few years ago, people thought that Lesnar was going to be leaving WWE after WrestleMania 31 when he loses the title to Reigns. He didn't. He hung around. He's still here 3 years later. Yep. But we'll get on to Brock Lesnar later on anyway.
Absolutely.
Okay, the Raw Women's title match. Alexa Bliss and Nia Jax.
And like I say, Alexa is so scared of Nia Jax. You've seen it the last couple of weeks. Nia is a huge figure, and Mason's asked for it. It's like, how come Nia hasn't got the championship? She's so dominant, and they've never really given her the chance. And for that very reason, that's why I'm picking Alexa. Alexa's definitely holding on to this title. Mickey James might have some role to play in it, but Nia's going to get screwed over again. Nia deserves to win it, which is why she's not going to win it. And we talked about great heels in Miz. I'm going to pick Alexa as an even better heel. The looks and expressions on her face is just priceless. She plays that scared character, but she still gets to win each time. I don't see anything else happening for that one. Alexa's going to win. It's not going to be a clean win, that's for sure. Or she might get herself disqualified, and then she retains the title. But I'm saying Alexa retains the title. I can't tell you who wins the match.
No.
But I'm going Alexa.
I've got Alexa Bliss to retain the title as well, and for actually the exact same reason.
Yeah.
Because when you think about it, and I've done some thinking here, and I can't remember the last time in a long, long time that anyone at WrestleMania won by disqualification.
And I would say Mason and I have only been watching for a very short period of time.
Yeah.
I definitely don't know that one. I can't help you on that one.
No, I mean, I'm thinking back. I think that the most recent one I could think of would be probably when Undertaker lost to beat Giant Gonzalez by disqualification for WrestleMania 9.
Oh, goodness.
But that's me just guessing on that one.
That's a long time ago.
Yeah, but that's just me just guessing on that one. I could be wrong on that one. I'm probably going to get people correcting me in the comments for this. But as I say, my knowledge can be a bit blurry when I start going back that far. But we talk about thousands of matches, guys, here.
See, I tried quickly Googling last disqualification at WrestleMania, and unfortunately it comes up with no disqualification matches as well, like Ric Flair versus Undertaker in 18, Undertaker, Psycho Sid. So, yeah, I tried cheating, but no, I can't find it quickly.
I do admire your honesty there. You could have got away with that one as well.
Oh, no, having said I've not seen very many. There's no way I can pull up facts like that.
That's alright. You're forgiven for that one. Right, we'll move on from a joint decision on Alexa Bliss. We'll move to the other side of the women's division, the SmackDown Women's Championship. Charlotte Flair, the Queen of the Ring, defending against the Empress of Tomorrow, 2018 first ever Women's Royal Rumble winner, Asuka.
And who also won I believe she won the, what's the thing on Facebook Live? I don't know what that's called because I've not been
The
following.
Mixed Match Challenge.
But she won that this week as well, right?
I believe so. I haven't seen it yet.
Sorry, spoiler alert.
But that's okay. I haven't been following it massively, so it's not. I'm not too upset about that. But it wouldn't surprise me.
This is another one I'm super confident on. Asuka. I have no doubt about this one at all. Charlotte's been built up the last few weeks to give some sort of credibility to her challenge. But no, she's losing the title. Asuka's going to win. Asuka's going to move across to SmackDown once she wins the title.
Yeah.
And that way they can keep Asuka and Ronda Rousey apart for a year. And then next year's WrestleMania is going to be Asuka versus Ronda Rousey. And I don't see anything to dissuade me from that fact. Asuka, without a shadow of a doubt. The longer the streak goes on, the more it's going to build her character up. And I think that makes for a better match at the following year's WrestleMania.
Absolutely correct on that one, as far as I'm concerned. I don't think we actually could ask for a better women's title match, to be fair.
It'll be good. Can I give you a theory from Mason, though?
Go for it, yeah. Mason,
I thought this was kind of interesting. He said, what happened if Ric Flair came at the match and interfered in the match and allowed Charlotte to win? Now, I actually like that even more than what we just proposed, actually. I think that would be great. You would get a great pop from the crowd if Flair was to suddenly appear. I think that would be an awesome way to finish it. I don't think it's happening, but I was like, wow, he came up with that's a really good idea.
If he gives that, if Ric Flair comes in and costs Asuka her winning streak at WrestleMania, I will give him my Liverpool shirt. That is never going to happen.
But you know what? That's the only way I can see Charlotte winning, though. If she doesn't win clean, and if she's a face right now, I don't think she's going to do anything. I don't think she's going to do anything besides that. But somebody who interfered on her behalf, yeah, Asuka loses the streak technically, but she still comes out of it good because she got cheated out of it. And I like the way he's thinking on that. I think that's really clever. But I'm still going Asuka.
I'm thinking Asuka could always win by DQ as well, of course. Let's not forget that. So.
Oh yeah, yep.
Then that way the feud continues on, obviously. But yeah, Mason and why is Mason onto something good there? That's annoyed me. That has a 10-year-old has annoyed me on my own podcast. He's not even on the podcast. My God.
We'll try and get him on at some point in the future. He's sleeping right now. It's the time that we're recording. It's his bedtime right now, so he's sleeping.
For a benefit of a tape, it's also my bedtime. It's 1:30 in the morning my time right now. But it's worth it. It's worth it. It's all for the business. All for the business. It's all good.
Got to make those sacrifices.
It's gonna be worse than this on Sunday. I'll tell you that for a second.
Oh, of course, yeah. This is good practice, yeah. I'm already shifting that time zone for you. I'm sort of relieving like the jet lag a little bit for you. I'm getting used to staying up so late.
I had another point to make about Asuka.
Sure.
I can't think what it is on top of my head. Oh yeah, remember now. That match, I've also got it written down here. That match, I've got a feeling, if it stays clean, I've got a feeling that will be the match of the night.
I could totally believe that. Because you're going to have the drama. Every time Charlotte gets a near pin, it's going to be like, the streak's over. Oh, kicks out at 2.5.
Streak's over.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because Michael Cole's going to go mental, obviously, the whole time.
Yep.
But the thing is, I'd quite like to see Jim Ross call that match. I'd like JR to be calling that match. But I don't think that's going to happen. I think if Jim Ross comes to call a match this year, it will only be probably for one we'll come to later. Right.
No.
Okay, so I think we've done Asuka a definite one on that one. The Raw Tag Team Championships. The Bar, Cesaro and Sheamus defending their titles against Braun Strowman and a partner to be determined.
Oh, this is such a tough one. This is so confusing. Now, the Bar's gone through everybody on the Raw roster, and there is that rumour that after WrestleMania, they're going to move across to SmackDown because there's nobody left for them to beat. So, how would you finish it off? Like, I can't imagine them retaining that title and then allowing them to move to SmackDown because they would already have that title. So that doesn't make sense to me. Braun Strowman is so over right now as well. You'd want him to win it, but how can you have one... Well, I know it's not going to be one person, but surely you want to push Braun as a singles person. So even if he wins, they're not going to keep him as tag team champion for very long, which makes it really confusing to try and figure that out.
Yeah.
Also, if they do lose, then why would you send them across to SmackDown? Because they've suddenly lost some strength. This is a really tough one. I actually think this one could be a possible DQ match as well, so both of them coming out looking good. But Bar retains possibly, but then they'll just default their title and move across or whatever. I'm going to have to go with Braun Strowman though. This is so tough. We don't know who he's going to be with. I wonder if this is an opportunity to bring in a classic figure. Now, I'm not saying it's going to be Jeff Jarrett, but we know he's going to be there that week. Are they going to pick somebody like that? Just make it a little novelty act and then just break it up after a few weeks and let somebody serious take over.
Yeah.
I think I heard Usos are coming over to Raw as well, so that's another possibility that actually both could keep their titles and then just switch brands and then just swap titles. I don't know. Having said that, I'm still going with Braun Strowman.
Braun Strowman, I can see where you go with that. I mean, obviously Neville's been touted as a potential tag partner for him. Elias was thrown into the mix apparently. Because, you know, why not sort of thing. You need to get him on the card at some point. I heard
a good story about Elias just for a second today, and apparently it's not going to happen now. Apparently they wanted to get a singing segment for him, because obviously that's his thing, and they were going to do it with The Rock, and it was going to be a rock concert, but unfortunately they couldn't manage to guarantee Rock was going to be there, so they had to back away from that. They were going to get Jeff Jarrett on guitar as well. They were going to get Kid Rock in there because he's there. That would have been a really cool thing, but unfortunately they didn't manage to procure The Rock for that event, so they had to put that to one side.
I did hear that they were trying at one point to get Elias versus Jeff Jarrett in.
I heard that one too, and I actually heard that as fact. I reported that as fact, I think, on our podcast. Yeah. Or I certainly mentioned it on Twitter, and yeah, that was just a rumour as well. That seemed like an obvious one as well.
Would have been nice to see, but at the same time, Jarrett hasn't been in WWE for 19 years.
Yeah.
He's been away, I think, longer than Brett was away.
Yeah.
I think it's been longer period of time. And he's been fired by Vince twice.
Well, we've also heard, of course, and I think we both talked about this previously, Jeff Jarrett's been touted as the next SmackDown general manager as well.
Yeah.
Particularly with Daniel Bryan going back to the wrestling side of things.
Yeah.
So perhaps that's what changed the plans a little bit as well now.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, people talking about Hulk Hogan obviously doing that role, but, you know, Jeff Jarrett's a decent shout, but yeah. We completely strayed from the topic. That's what happened. This is what happened when
now, one podcast I listen to has something called Sidebars, so they get away with that. So they just go. I'll give a little plug to them. View from the Top Rope, because they're on part of our. We're on the Visionaries Wrestling Network. We're going to join that pretty soon, and they're the people who actually accepted us onto their network. So yeah, they do this quite regularly. They go sidebar, and then they always forget where they actually were, which is of course why we take a few notes so that doesn't happen today.
Yeah, one thing is that one hell of a cheap pop. That's a great cheap pop as well, because literally you had to get a cheap pop in, make sure you actually plug yourself. I love that. Well done, Graham. Well done.
Well, the one I didn't plug, which is the one I should have plugged, is having mentioned it's my son's wrestling podcast. I didn't even mention it's at MGB Wrestling Pod, which you can follow us on Twitter. So I was going to give it in at the end, but it seems as a nice little segue, I'm going to mention it right now. So yeah, or follow me at Mr. Bagshaw as well would be the other option.
Make sure you do, guys. Make sure you do. These guys are amazing. I love them to pieces. Talking about sidebars, my answer for that was The Bar. I think The Bar will retain the Raw Tag Team Championships purely because of the rumours that we've all seen about them defending the championships against the Hardys at the 50-man Royal Rumble event in Abu Dhabi. Now, whether that comes to pass, I don't know. Maybe they win the titles, maybe they lose the titles, but that also would imply that they're not going to be moving to SmackDown.
I remember you. I actually remember you talking about that, and I'd forgotten that fact. So yeah, no, that's probably a good shout on that basis then.
So I've gone with that for that reason, but as ever, card is subject to change. So
yeah, of course, as always.
That's the reason I've gone with that. Plus, I do like Sheamus and Cesaro's work as heels. They are very good heels. I love them as heels, definitely. Right, that's the Raw tag done. Tick that. Right, the SmackDown tag team titles. This is a triple threat match, obviously.
It is, yeah. This is Usos, Bash Brothers, and New Day. And I actually saw the Usos versus the Bash Brothers. It was probably about 10 days ago at WWE Fairfax, and Usos managed. It was actually a title match, and Mason was said at the time, "He's like, well, this is ridiculous because they got facing at WrestleMania." And I said, "Well, straight away, obviously the Usos are retaining," and they did, but only because the Bash Brothers got disqualified. Now, I can't stand the New Day, so I'm not picking them. Even if they are favourites to win, even if they were 99% favourites to win, I'm not picking the New Day. I just can't stand them. I'm actually going to Usos. I think Usos are gonna defend. I think they've been doing really great promos recently. That heel turn that they did about a year ago, it's not affected their popularity at all. They're still as popular as ever.
It's saved their careers, in my opinion.
Bash Brothers are definitely on the up and up, that's for sure, and I'm glad they're in there. And I love the Bash Brothers as well. I think they're really good, but I just don't think that I don't think they have the same popularity that the Usos have. And I think it's that continuity thing again. If you can keep those streaks going, and for right now, I think they just want to keep the Usos as the SmackDown champions. So Usos to defend.
Usos to defend for you. I've also got the Usos to defend as well for similar reasons. I just think they're so over right now, but they won't have a titles off them right now. But I do have to ask a little question here, Graham. Did you mean the Bludgeon Brothers?
Oh, I did this before. I'm thinking, and now I've become so American, Matt, that there's the Bash Brothers are actually two baseball players, and I got that image of them swinging their baseball bats around. Yeah, right, it is. It's the Bludgeon Brothers. I don't know what.
Because there was a tag team called the Basham Brothers from the mid-2000s.
No, it wasn't for that at all. This was a total baseball thing, and I think this is why people love our podcast, because we're just so amateurish about it. We don't know anything. Mason's only been watching for 2 years. I've been watching for in and out. Although I'm 40 years plus, I've only watched wrestling in total for certainly WWE, probably in total for like 6, I think, or something like that. So yeah, we're enthusiastic, but yeah, we definitely make mistakes. You're right. I totally meant the Bludgeon Brothers.
I just thought I'd make sure, because, if I didn't actually say that they're not the Basham Brothers, because the Basham Brothers were part of JBL's cabinet back in 2004 and 5. If I didn't mention that, then I'd be getting Lee jitters, and I've got OCD about it sort of thing. I am terrible for that, I'm so sorry. Okay, so we've dealt with the Usos in the SmackDown tag match. The next one would be Shane McMahon and Daniel Bryan against Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, with KO and Zayn's jobs on SmackDown reinstated if they win. Who have you got and why, Graham?
Now, well, first of all, we saw that Shane was finally back and he's been cleared. That was on SmackDown this week. Now, I have the theory for this, and you mentioned the same words very carefully. They made it very clear that if they lose, they will not return to SmackDown. That was the thing. They were going to be knocked back from the WWE, but not from SmackDown. Now, Mason's first thought was the same as mine when I first heard it. Obviously, KO and Sami are going to win, because they're not going to kick them out of WWE, and they're not. KO and Sami are going to lose, and then they're going to move on the shuffle, and they're going to reappear on Raw. So I'm going to go for the twist on this one. Whenever somebody's job's on the line, they always win, as far as I can tell. I can't think of a single case when that hasn't happened. So, Daniel Bryan, and big push for Daniel Bryan. He's been out for 2 years. Who doesn't want the fans to see Daniel Bryan win as well? Daniel Bryan and Shane are definitely winning this one.
I have exactly the same answer for exactly the same reasons. Can you imagine the uproar if Daniel Bryan, first match back, and it's at WrestleMania, and they don't have him go over?
Correct.
There will be a riot on Bourbon Street.
Yep.
So, yeah, I did actually originally think DQ, but I thought, they looked at, they're not going to put two DQ finishes in WrestleMania. Dusty Rhodes isn't booking this show. So, I've already got Letter Bliss win by DQ, so I'm going to cross out the DQ bit on my card here, and Shane and Bryan are winning this one. But it
also sets it up perfectly as well, the fact that there's a rivalry between Shane, between the two companies, and I've totally forgotten her name, which is really ridiculous, Shane and Stephanie. So, although Shane doesn't want them on his organisation, Stephanie would obviously love to pick them up just to antagonise Shane as well.
Exactly.
It makes perfect sense.
Exactly, but at the same time, do you remember when Shane had that first started this whole run-in with Kevin Owens? Stephanie, and it was before that when Brock Lesnar took Shane out, remember that a few months ago?
No, I don't remember that one.
And Stephanie made Brock Lesnar pay a fine for taking
Oh,
out Shane.
I don't think I saw that one.
So Heyman paid the bill in the ring in dollar bills.
I don't remember that. No.
Yeah, it was basically Stephanie saying, and I think it was $1,000 fine. That was what it was, $1,000 fine. Stephanie basically was punishing him, but really it's a case of like, don't do that, animal, don't do that, animal. Yeah. Right, okay, so that's taken care of KO and Zayn. They're going to Raw in a Superstar Shuffle. It's clear, as clear as the glasses on my face right now.
Absolutely.
Now, WWE title. AJ Styles defending against the 2018 Royal Rumble winner Shinsuke Nakamura.
Mm-hmm.
This one is probably the hardest match on the entire card to call, and with good reason. Your thoughts?
Oh, I disagree. This is another one I'm fairly confident on, actually. I'm going AJ Styles all the way. I think he keeps his title. WWE's done a terrible job of bringing Shinsuke across. They haven't really promoted him very well. Besides winning the Royal Rumble, he's not really had that push at all. And the other reason I think AJ is going to win, let's go back to New Japan. The first match I ever saw in New Japan, actually, because I'd heard the hype about it. Shinsuke wins in Wrestle Kingdom 10 on home turf in Japan. Therefore, now we're in WrestleMania in America. The American AJ Styles wins. To me, it's AJ Styles.
Logic is sound on that one. Logic is sound. Unfortunately, I think that AJ... I think, is this his second WWE title reign? Or was it his third?
Oh, that I'm not sure of.
I think it's only his second title reign. I can see them dropping it to Shinsuke, but I'm not 100% certain on this one. I can't call it because they're both faces at the moment, which doesn't usually happen at Mania.
No.
It's beautiful to see two such huge fan favourites. I mean, when AJ debuted at the Royal Rumble a couple of years ago, and the cameras thought, oh, okay, we'll keep the camera on Roman Reigns. We won't show his entrance. Big mistake, WWE. Big mistake.
Yeah. Yep.
And then obviously his entrance. Everyone loves his entrance. The whole back goes the hood. Looks amazing, obviously. And then you've got Shinsuke.
Perfect for an audio podcast, what you just did right there, but yeah.
I just realised I did that. I just realised that I actually am basically acting out. Because you can see me, obviously, on the camera.
I can see, because we're on Skype right now. I can see exactly. You just did what AJ Styles does when in front of whole cameras, but yeah.
Yeah. Yes, that's... Yes, I just realised that... Great format for radio. Great format for radio, definitely. And then you've got Shinsuke do a whole entrance that everyone sings along. So everyone sings along to violin music.
Yeah.
Who would have ever thought that would work in WWE? Shinsuke.
Exactly. It does.
It does. Thing is...
Yeah, we got to see that in Philadelphia at Battleground last year, the one where they had the Punjabi prison match, and it was one of our memorable moments. We hadn't seen Shinsuke at that point, and yeah, his music, they both have great entrances. They both get the attention, that's for sure.
I do think that Shinsuke will have a live violin player there for it as well this year.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
Because this is where you need to break out the live entrances. That's what it's for. Yep. It's supposed to be the showcase of Immortals. Bring your A game.
Yep. Now, you did talk about having two faces for this. We just discussed this on our podcast before I came talking to you. Mason thinks, and I agree with him on this, we think that Shinsuke is going to turn heel. Now, he's shown a few very small tendencies. The pat on the head in the last few, that's very disrespectful. He's supposed to be from Japan where they have honor and things like that. You don't pat people on the head like that. We think that might be the first signs. Obviously, in terms of heel turns, it's a very small one. And we think that Shinsuke is going to turn heel probably after this match. That's what we call it anyway.
I like that. I'm going to put that down there because I'm going to call you on that if you're wrong. Well, actually, I'll call Mason on it.
I look forward to hearing your call Monday morning. But I thought that was an interesting insight.
It'll be Monday morning my time. You'll be hearing it during WrestleMania, believe me. Did you? I'm guessing you've seen SmackDown, obviously. So I'm guessing you saw the false phenomenal forearm, of course,
correct.
and then taps.
called that as my number one moment this time, and then he patted him on the head in reverse. But yeah,
I thought that was a nice little touch, but
I thought it was good. Yeah, yep.
I mean, yes, Japan's all about honour, but also Japan are very ruthless. I mean, the samurai, yes, they're loyal and they're honourable and everything, but they're also known for being absolute psychopaths.
But that could be true. That could be true as well.
Yes. Right. The penultimate one I've got on the card is WWE COO Triple H and Raw Commissioner Stephanie McMahon versus former Olympic bronze medalist Ronda Rousey and Olympic gold medalist and Raw General Manager Kurt Angle.
Yep.
That was a mouthful get in one breath.
This is probably the one I'm looking forward for most. I'm very excited by Ronda Rousey joining, and I'm going to give you the exact quote from Monday Night Raw. So Ronda asks, Steph, are you right or left-handed? Stephanie's got the microphone in her hand. She's like, I'm a righty, of course. Why? Well, I was just wondering, as I still want you to be able to sign my checks after I rip it off. Brilliant moment. That was my favourite moment in the whole of Raw for Monday night.
I did love that. Ronda's got so much better on the microphone since WrestleMania 31. So much better.
This is the one I'm most excited by. I thought it was the right time that Ronda actually went through a table, because she'd been just gaining all the positives the whole way through. There's never been anything to suggest the other side can do anything. Now, having said all that, and I'm really excited by Ronda, and I think Asuka's going to go and face Ronda possibly next year at WrestleMania, I think this is a slightly different match because it's a tag team match. And we know that Triple H will play all the dirty cards possible. He'll do something untoward. Something's going to happen. I don't actually see Ronda winning this one. Even though eventually they're going to want to make her a big star, I think they're going to make her a big star by letting Triple H and Stephanie win, but in a very under-the-hand way, or something that's not clear. The referee might be knocked out. There might be a low blow on Kurt Angle. That's probably a good way of getting around it, actually. Ronda doesn't get pinned, but Kurt gets pinned, and then Ronda still gets her credibility. But I actually think Triple H and Stephanie are going to win this one, even though they're by far the worst team in this.
See, I was quite impressed with Stephanie's side slam. They call it a side slam, but I thought it was more of a traditional back suplex that she actually performed. I was quite impressed with Stephanie for that, to be fair. Although the fact that Ronda was standing up so soon after it made me wonder a little bit. Yeah. Can she sell?
Well, did you notice as well, when the men get slammed through tables, they go through so easily because there's so much weight. She barely went through that table because I don't know what Ronda Rousey weighs, 130, 150 pounds. I don't know.
She was bantamweight. That's all I know. Yeah.
To break that table.
Yeah, I mean, she was bantamweight in UFC, but aside from that, I have no idea. I'm afraid on that one.
They're nowhere near the weights of the average male wrestlers in WWE. That's for sure.
See, you're really looking forward to this match, and when Ronda joined, I was so looking forward to WrestleMania. For her, I was so looking forward to it. But the fact of the matter is that, I mean, it was tipped for a while to be the show main event, and I'm like, this match should be nowhere near the end of the card. Should be nowhere near it at all, in my opinion. This should be a middle of the card match, because, with no disrespect to Ronda or to Kurt, but Triple H and Stephanie don't need to be in this match.
No.
Ronda probably would have been better going into the Women's Battle Royal and winning it. Because that would have given her credibility.
We still don't know if she's ready for that yet. That's the thing that we don't know. What is her wrestling ability like right now?
Well, this is it.
Given time, I'm sure it'll be great. But right now, I'm not sure if she is ready 100%.
I mean, the last person to debut on the match card of WrestleMania. Do you know who it was?
The one previous to Rousey? Is that what you're asking?
The person who... Ronda Rousey is obviously the latest person to debut at WrestleMania in a match. But do you know who the last person to make their first wrestling appearance at WrestleMania was?
Oh, I see what you're saying. I don't know. I got no idea.
Michael Cole.
Oh, I actually watched that. I was sick earlier in the week, and it came up as like the 5th anniversary of it or something, and I'd heard how bad Michael Cole was, so I actually watched that match.
WrestleMania 27, it was terrible.
On Jack Swagger was brilliant.
Yeah, Jack Swagger sold that really, really well. Unfortunately, Michael Cole, less so.
I got one fact for you here. You're really the fact expert on this, so I got to throw in. When I know a fact, I've actually got to throw it in.
Go for it.
Did you realise that there's another person who's debuting in WrestleMania this year as well? Stephanie. She's never actually had a match in WrestleMania before. I'd never really realised that.
That's true, but Stephanie has competed in matches before. This is Ronda's first match.
Oh, correct. Agreed. But in terms of WrestleMania, I was surprised this was her first time she's been brought in. Absolutely. I was really shocked by that one. And it's putting Rousey as her first WrestleMania, but it's Stephanie's first WrestleMania as well.
And 18 years ago, at WrestleMania 2000, she was the reigning women's champion. And didn't compete at WrestleMania.
Wow.
No, she stood in the corner of Triple H, because it was McMahon in every corner. And actually, to be fair, I wasn't really happy with Jim Ross's call looking back at it, because I've watched a few on the network, getting ready for the predictions and everything. And Jim Ross absolutely slams the women's title belt. It's like, what's she doing out there with that women's title belt? She's got no reason to bring that out her with her. And King says, she's the women's champion. She's entitled to be proud of it. And he says, I'm proud of my, I forget what he said exactly, my medal collection. I didn't bring it with me. I'm like, yeah, you had a point, JR, but couldn't say that nowadays, could you really? The women's title means a hell of a lot nowadays.
It's the progression that the women have made in
the women's title was really not a good thing back in the early 2000s, unfortunately. Thankfully, Trish and Chyna and everyone gave more credibility to it. So
I got to throw Lita in there as well. She's one of my favorites.
Absolutely, yes, absolutely. How can I forget Lita? So you're going with Stephanie and Triple H to win it, are you?
I am, but yeah, it'll be non-deserving. But yes, I'm going for a non-deserving win for them.
I was going with Rousey. I've got to admit, I was going with Rousey to win this because I thought they're going to beat. She's going to get her retribution and she's going to move on, sort of thing. But at the same time, I've got a feeling that, as you say, I'm changing. You see, it's written down there. You can't see this obviously on the podcast, but I'm showing Graham my notes. I've got Rousey here. Rousey's there, yeah.
Yes, you do have Rousey, yeah.
I'm crossing it out.
Well, I had told you I'm doing a predictions league online, and you convinced me on one as well. I said it was tough to go with the Bar and Braun Strowman, but I went with Braun Strowman. But your arguments convinced me. I'm going to switch to the Bar when I do my online predictions later.
Yeah.
So that's good. We'll trade a little information there.
Yeah, I've actually decided I'm going to go with the Authority to beat them.
Yes.
Because I've got a feeling that Angle will be out of a job as well for this.
And he's actually been, I didn't realise this came up on my Facebook feed, he's actually been the general manager for a year now. It didn't seem like it was that long.
Yeah, but
now, he only became the general manager, although the story didn't tell it that way, was because Mick Foley had his hip surgery.
Mick Foley
now,
was
I'm sure he's repeated now a year later. I don't know if Mick Foley's coming back, but yeah, they definitely need to mix that up as well. Although we do like his "You Suck" chant that they.
Mason certainly does. I remember that much.
Mm-hmm. But I think that's certainly possibly a good way of getting rid of him as well.
Before we come to the main event, which we've heard because of Dave Meltzer's basically broken the story, it's going to be the Universal title match. The rumoured match between The Undertaker and John Cena.
Yep.
We're going to go to that one now. Do you think A is going to happen? And if B, if it does happen, what will happen?
Okay, so I think yes, it's going to happen. I think it's going to be the American Badass. I think it's going to be American Badass versus Cena. Kid Rock's going to play the music. It just seems too much of a there's too many things that make me think that nothing's going to happen. One is, like I say, Kid Rock's there. Why would you induct him this year? You can induct him any year. It just seems like the perfect time to lay that character to retirement as well, and then Undertaker, all those characters are all done with. The other reason is, are the WWE that stupid that they would put up an idea out there 4 weeks in a row where John Cena's had ring time 5 to 10 minutes just to keep saying, I want to face Undertaker, where is he? And then not even bring it up again, not mention it. Why would you waste so much time? Now, if he'd have stopped it after one, like, hey, I'm going to put out a challenge to The Undertaker, what's going to happen? And then nothing happens after that, you go, alright, he tried to get The Undertaker, it didn't work, end of story, and that would be it. But for 4 weeks in a row, and Cena mentioned that today, he said, I've been asking 4 weeks in a row. It just seems like, why would you do that and not have it? But I think it's also for that pop at WrestleMania where we still don't know. How excited are we going to be when we see Undertaker come out as the American Badass, driving down that ramp on his motorbike? It just sounds like too obvious for it to happen. Now, I don't know if you asked me who's going to win. Now that's a totally different matter. That one I'm not sure on.
Yeah.
Did you ask me that?
No, I said what do you think's going to happen. I didn't say anything about winning it because
yes, I think it's going to happen, and I think it's going to be the American Badass who's coming out.
Okay, because I don't think it makes much difference who wins or loses that match. To be fair.
It's just the spectacle of that match.
This
Correct.
is the match that should have been last year. It should have been Taker versus Cena. Cena retiring Taker would have made a lot more sense than Roman Reigns doing it.
And Reigns had no credibility for that anyway. Every time he brings it up, the fans boo him.
Yeah.
And I agree.
This is my
If
yard.
you're trying to push Roman over the top, which they have been for a long time now, that's not the way you do it by taking out one of their favourite characters.
I don't know if you heard it on Raw this week as well, but there actually was a "Let's Go Roman" chant.
Oh no, I missed that one. Yeah,
it was very subtle, but it was happening.
I only watched the 20-minute version because I was on my sick bed, so I didn't get to take in the whole thing.
Yeah, it was very subtle, but it was being reported by Cultaholic that it was actually it was happening. Apparently, I'm not sure how loud it was, but it could be heard. Apparently.
Oh wow.
Yeah. I also think the American Badass character will come back. I was talking to my brother-in-law about this because he loves all the Attitude Era stuff.
Yeah.
Excuse me. But he does talk with his friend about modern day wrestling. And when I mentioned about the American Badass character, he's like, that would be the worst idea they could ever do. Now, whether or not they're bringing back the current Undertaker, as it were, or the American Badass, it makes no difference because the fans are going to cheer no matter what happens when he comes out.
Correct.
However, if Kid Rock is anywhere near that microphone for his entrance, I will be muting it. Why on earth the man who had the audacity to not allow the copyright? So, WrestleMania 25. I'm going on a rant here. I'm mat attacking here, definitely. There is a problem with WrestleMania 25 because I believe it's Cinema Network. It certainly was my DVD release. I watched WrestleMania 25 live. I paid the £25 to watch it, and I watched it. And Kid Rock came out and basically did a quarter of an hour concert in the middle of it, and it was before the 25 Miss WrestleMania Battle Royal. All the divas, as they were back then, danced past him and everything, all the way down to the ring. Do not mention that, Graham. And now I've mentioned it myself. Yes, I just dance like a diva. Never mind. They danced past him, going down to the ring, and then the bell rings, and the ring announcer, I forget which ring announcer it was, announces that it's the Miss WrestleMania Battle Royal. They joined the match in progress, and no entrances at all. And you know what the most disgusting thing about it is for the DVD release?
Go ahead.
The whole Kid Rock thing is cut from the show.
Huh?
So these women go from one thing straight to 25 divas being in the ring and Santino Marella in drag.
No, I'm gonna be honest with you. I hope they actually do that on Sunday because that's my worry of this thing. Because it's gonna go on so long anyway. I'm like, just get them all in the ring and introduce them one at a time. If they all walk down that ramp one at a time, it could take forever. I want to get this show on the road. Let's get on with it. I know it's the pre-show, but just get it on. It takes too long.
Yeah. Last year, WrestleMania was 7 hours.
I know. It was the first one I'd actually ever watched live. And I didn't watch the whole thing. I think I watched the first 5 hours, and then I went to bed because I have to get up really early. I'm talking from an American point of view. I know over in England, it doesn't even start until like 10 p.m. the pre-show.
10 p.m.
The real
the pre-show,
thing doesn't start till like midnight. I used to have the same thing when I used to watch the Super Bowl, so I sort of relate to it a little bit. But yeah, I know it's tough.
Yeah, 10 p.m.
I actually listed that. Somebody asked on a podcast on Twitter today, what thing are you most looking forward to? What are you least looking forward to?
Sleeping
and I said
afterwards.
the thing I'm looking forward to the most is Ronda Rousey. The thing I'm looking forward to the least is the length of it, because I'm not going to get to see it in one go. I'm going to have to split it up into two, and I hate having to do that.
Yeah, I don't reckon Mason will be able to do the whole 7 hours.
He won't be doing the whole of it. No, he'll only make it till probably the first. If he watches the pre-show, he'll probably be able to watch the first hour and a half of the main card, so he'll probably watch 3.5 hours. And we actually watched it over a few days last time. We actually saw the Reigns Undertaker match on the Tuesday, if I remember correctly. We saw the Hardy Boys Monday because I was so pumped by that, and I knew he would be as well.
It was
but yeah,
fantastic.
we took like 3 days to watch it, which is fine. I don't care. I'm going to look at the results as soon as I wake up Monday morning.
That's the beauty of the network, though. The beauty of the network, you can actually cut it into pieces for that, and it's perfect for that.
Yes. And if I hear that one match is really bad, I can skip it. So if I hear there's like a Bray Wyatt match with maggots in the middle of the ring, then I know I can skip that one because that's ridiculous, and then I can just move on. Do you remember that one? Matt's hiding his face now for the benefit of the audio.
I don't do creepy crawlies at the best of times. I have a real problem with them. But I get what they were going with at least with that match last year, but
That match stunk the place out, and that Battleground match, the one that stunk that out, was John Cena versus Rusev in a flag match. It was awful. It was terrible.
It didn't look good on TV either,
really
and you were there for it. You were there for it. I was watching on. Yep. I was watching on the network, and even I thought, this isn't what a flag match is.
This is terrible. It wasn't a great pay-per-view. We went for the novelty of the Punjabi prison match, but yeah, no, that was not a good match. The Usos match was really good, though. I do remember that.
Yeah. But that's the thing with pay-per-view. Sometimes you win some, you lose some.
Absolutely.
And hopefully, with the pay-per-view prediction video podcast, we'll actually be able to weed out what we're looking forward to. That's the whole point of these. Hopefully, we actually get somewhere. Many people probably will argue the case against us one way or another for that, but you know, right? As Todd Grisham would say, it's now time for our main event. The Universal title match between Roman Reigns, the winner of Elimination Chamber, and the man who hasn't been beaten, well, hasn't been pinned since Survivor Series 2016. Brock Lesnar.
Okay.
For the Universal Championship.
You said this is the main event. I actually think this is anticlimactic, but this is the one I'm most confident in predicting.
We all are.
That I'm in, you have to have a confidence level, and you can have a scale factor. And I'm going the maximum scale factor on this one. Everyone's known the result of this for a year. Reigns is going to win. Lesnar's going to go to UFC. And that's it. In the interest of brevity, man, I'm done. Reigns. That's it.
Reigns is definitely going to win the title. Yeah. I can't argue. We put it this way. As soon as they announced a 7-man Elimination Chamber match, we knew what was going to happen. Cena's like saying, I've got to win this because I've got to go to WrestleMania. Like, we know you're not going to win it, John.
I mean, yeah.
No offense. We knew Finn Balor wasn't going to win it. He deserved to.
Yep.
We know that Seth Rollins wasn't going to win it. He deserved to. I mean,
Elias wasn't getting it, and Braun was close, actually.
Braun deserved
I would
it.
be okay with Braun and Lesnar, actually. I knew Reigns was going to win.
Braun defeated everyone in that chamber apart from Roman Reigns.
Yep.
Now, Roman Reigns came out of that match looking kind of pathetic, in my opinion, but Strowman came out of it looking like, I can't say that because it's a PG podcast. He looked bleeping awesome, let's put it that way. But I
didn't realise you changed. I didn't realise this was the new Matt Attack. That you're all PG as well. Did Mason and I have an influence on you then?
Maybe it's because I actually want to at some point have him on this podcast, and I can't have him on this podcast if I'm going to start swearing like a trooper. And believe me, anyone who's seen my Matt Attack videos will know I can swear like a trooper.
Absolutely. I think your review of when Zayn Malik left One Direction was a good example of that.
You actually watched that. That's the thing about it. I think the most watched video of my Matt Attack was actually when I gave a commendation to a very good friend of ours who passed away. And that's the thing, you see. I ran about what I want to rant about, and for me, people say, I mean, a good friend of ours from Fighting Talk, it's a podcast in the United Kingdom for those of us who didn't catch Graham's and Mason's podcast last week. It's where me and Graham met. A friend of ours passed away nearly 2 years ago, and we all became really, really, really close as a result of it. Zarte Siempre is one of our friends. Yes, Zarte, I'm giving you a shout out on a wrestling podcast. Deal with it.
He's not listening to this anyway, so you're okay. He'd rather eat needles, I think was his quote on Twitter today.
He ridiculed me for going on the at MGP Wrestling podcast. I absolutely loved going on that. It was so nice to talk to wrestling fans about wrestling for a change. I'm doing the same again today because you guys convinced me to do it, and Zarte even gave me. He is so scathing with his praise, but even he actually turned around to me and said, "Good luck to you, mate." I'm like, "It's the nicest thing you've ever said to me. Good luck." He doesn't do compliments, Zarte, so that's massive props on my part, as far as I'm concerned. I think that concludes the predictions then, Graham.
I think it does. I think that's everything. It's just a shame that a match that's so obvious is probably going to end WrestleMania. I really hope that you have this in the wrong order.
So do
I. Hope it's American Badass versus Cena at the end. I think that would be a great way to finish. And I don't want Reigns. Hasn't Reigns been the main event for like the last 3 years already?
Roman
Isn't
Reigns.
This going to be his fourth one?
Roman Reigns headline WrestleMania 31, 32, 33, and this year be 34.
See, I don't want him to do 4 in a row. I don't think he deserves 4 in a row. I don't mind Roman Reigns personally, but I don't think he deserves to headline 4 in a row.
This is the thing, you see. I have no problem with his wrestling ability. It's absolutely fantastic to see such a. I mean, yes, he's a big guy, and yes, he's clearly. He's bounced on and on about Brock being his boy. Make no mistake, Roman Reigns is Vince's boy. Make no doubts about it.
Oh, definitely.
Because otherwise, he wouldn't have won the Royal Rumble when he did, and The Rock got booed out of the building for trying to put him over. I mean, Rock has never looked more uncomfortable in a wrestling ring than when he held up Roman's hand, and the most forced smile I've ever seen from anyone in my life. Right, I think we're done, young Graham. I think it's
Can I give one more plug then? Can I repeat all my details for everybody?
Plug away, Graham. Go for it, buddy.
And this way you can check out Matt as well from his episode that we did last week. So we're on Twitter at MGB Wrestling Pod. I'm at Mr. Bagshaw. You can find us on YouTube if you Google MGB Wrestling Podcast. And Matt was with us on episode 6. And we finally made the jump up to the big time. We've had the push. We're going to be on iTunes this week. I believe it's, if you look at Visionaries Wrestling Podcasts. Visionaries Wrestling Network. Then you should be able to find us there. But it's certainly if you look on our Twitter feed, you'll certainly be able to find us there. And I'm sure Matt will give us a plug as well. And Matt, once you got this posted, make sure you post that, and then we'll retweet that as well, so we can share a few fans between us. Okay?
Yes, Mr. Bagshaw. I shall do so. I had to get that in. I had to get a teacher reference in for you there, just to tease you a little bit on that one. Right? Okay. Thank you very much again to Graham for joining me this month for the podcast.
Thank you, and thank you for, I'm going to say, accommodating us again. You've been very accommodating in all of this one. I know it's nearly 2:30 in the morning there in the UK, where it's quite a reasonable 9:30 here. So once again, thank you for doing that. That's really been very helpful.
No problem at all. Right, this has been the Matt Attack. I'm Matt Willis. That was Graham Bagshaw. We're out of here.